The Silly Goose Gang Podcast.
And we are back, episode 35, Silly Goose Gang Podcast, and we're delighted to be joined this evening by Queen of Badminton, Gail Emms MBE, bracket legend. Thank you so much. I think that was your official full title, I believe, Gail.
I think it is now, basically. I think, when you go through coronavirus and you're coming out the other end, this is what you have to have in your life, basically, is just to add that extra, because if you don't now, I don't know what's going to happen, basically. So, yeah, let's do it. I might have a sticker, might just like a name badge, or maybe maybe some T-shirts made for it as well. Maybe give out some pens to people with that. I like them. Yeah.
You might as well get a tiara as well then.
Oh, yes! Oh, do you know what? People don't wear tiaras around the streets enough. I'll start the trend off, definitely. Tiaras, crowns.
Instead of a massive diamond, like a shuttlecock.
Shuttlecock, yeah, because that won't look stupid at all. I mean, God, so many jokes about shuttlecocks anyway, so why don't you put one on your head? Because it hasn't got the word cock in it. So if you want to have that right there, I mean, brilliant.
That's what it's like. I think that is the future to go for. It's the only way it can come out of this whole 2020 debacle. It's shuttlecocks on the head. We've had everything else. Why not have shuttlecocks on the head?
Yes, I think so. I think this is it. If this is what comes out of 2020, that just sums it up, doesn't it? Yeah, basically.
Just offline before we came and got yourself in this call, Gail, myself and Chris were talking, and me and him are a little bit disappointed in ourselves.
Oh.
Because if we had been smarter, we could have got you on yesterday, because I believe yesterday was 16 years to the day that you received your Olympic medal out in Athens.
That is right.
Excuse me, you don't receive an Olympic medal. You win an Olympic medal.
Technically, you lose gold if you get silver in my sport. You don't win silver because you've lost gold. So technically, I didn't win my silver. I got given my silver because I wasn't good enough to get the gold. So it's the anniversary of Loser Day, basically. No, it's a hard one because it's so many memories and it seems so long ago. And you see the pictures and you got, so if you play it all back and everything. And there are some pictures online and you see, and I'm really upset in them because actually although it was the start of something, because when I stood on that podium, I vowed I never will feel like that again playing a badminton match. I never want to feel like I'm on silver medal when I wanted gold. I was the weak link in that final. And I vowed that I will never, ever be like that ever again. So in a way, it was the anniversary of like kick-ass Gail, because I just was like on it from that moment on, because I just refused to be a weak person anymore. But also it was so hard to get to that point as well. So there's so many people involved about getting you to that podium. And I was 27, so my first Olympic Games. So it's a long time to try and get somewhere when you've been dreaming about it for years. So many emotions, so many stories, but it's quite nice looking back. I just can't believe how young I look. That's the most depressing. I'm like, oh, look, I had all like cute little cheeks and stuff like that. And now, it's not quite the same.
No, it's interesting you say that, because I did sports sciences at university, and we did a section in sports psychology.
Yeah.
And I read a paper where they spoke to 1,000 Olympic medalists, and it kind of ties in with what you were saying there, Gail. I don't know if you're maybe familiar with this, the way you're kind of half nodding, but they interviewed 1,000 medalists, and apparently the happiest medalists were the bronze.
Oh, yes.
But it seems very weird, but what they basically said is the gold medalists kind of go, oh, I've won gold, where do I go from here? As you've just said, with your experience, the silver medalists were like, shit, I just lost out on gold. Whereas the bronze medalists go, wow, if I was...
Thank God I didn't come fourth.
0.2 seconds slower, I would have been nowhere. So that's interesting that's still holds true, or certainly holds true for yourself.
Definitely in our sport, because you finish, the bronze medal have finished on a win and gold medal have finished on a win, whereas I finished on a loss. So I'm the only one on that, me and Nathan were the only ones that finished sort of as losers on that podium. So like I say, bronze are just like, oh, thank God. Gold are like, woo, and then we're just like, are we supposed to be happy? or sad, and it's that horrible emotion because you're trained and your whole mentality, your whole purpose is to win, and yet you finish on a loss. So yeah, it's different in races as well, because I remember Roger Black, he does a great talk, because he was up against Michael Johnson, so he was like, no one was going to win gold. So silver was everyone's gold. So he talks about his silver medal as his gold, because there was no way anyone was going to get gold. So for him, silver is a gold medal. But for me, it wasn't. It was actually quite horrible standing on there. You just didn't know I didn't know what emotion to feel. It was just, ugh, I'm not happy.
I find it amazing that you speak to an Olympic silver medalist and like, it's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, I'm not going to sell it on eBay. Don't worry, I'm not like that about it. I mean, I might keep it for a bit longer. It's just sort of, it's so hard when you're so trained to be. It's quite cult-like as a professional sports person. You are over and over again trained to win. You will win. This is how we're going to win. This is how we're going to. So you've got winning constantly going over and over and over like that, and it is not that. And I think things are changing, and obviously there's been reports of sort of the culture in sports at the moment, and there's been some not some great stuff coming out. And I think this is one of the things you've got to start changing about this winning at all costs mentality, because unfortunately the way sport is, the elite sport, it is all or nothing. You will win a medal. If you do not win a medal, then you're not good enough, or you're off the pathway or whatever. So when you're in that system, the pressure was so tense to get something, and if we hadn't, so we weren't sure if silver was okay. Which is such a strange, like you say, a strange feeling to have. I should be really happy with my silver medal, and I'm not really. I'm not, like I say, it started me on.
I would have been wearing that silver medal, just go to the shops.
Oh, yeah, I did that at Ops. I went to many bars. I went to lots of bars and nightclubs with that medal on, because it got you free drinks. I used it in the right way. But it's about what silver represents, and that's the problem, and that's where the sports psychology comes in, and of an athlete's mind. And it's, like I say, it's very delicate balance of whether it's should we have athletes that are happy for silver, or should we have athletes that are no, silver's not good enough, we want gold. So it's a very fine line of like that mental health and sports psychology. What's mental toughness, and what's borderline sort of start getting obsessive with stuff.
So what does,
got a bit deep there, sorry. You're like, oh, where's this going?
There's two guys, and the woman starts getting deep and philosophical, and we're going, oh shit, what do we do?
And I'm gonna start crying in a minute. It's like, you're like, shit, panic.
Yeah. Can we cut an advert?
Dodgy line.
I was going to say, did you feel vindicated when you went and won? Was it a world gold?
Yeah,
2 world golds?
Every moment since then. Yeah, you feel like everything is like a purpose for it. So you do feel, and that's not a really good feeling. It's not the right feeling to have, actually. Like you say, you feel like you want a revenge. Like, I'm going to show them, I'm going to prove them wrong. And it is a motivator for a lot of athletes, and it is a motivator for me, because I was told lots of times over and over again that I wasn't going to make it, or I wasn't going to be an Olympian, or you're not naturally talented enough to make it. So when you do it, you do want to go like that to people, and sort of show them you can do it. But
I would have thought that you'd been well within your rights to be on the the world podium on the top of it, and just go fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
And you do,
and what I mean? I think you'd be well within your rights to do that.
You have your moments of it, because the athletes are still kids, and no offense, I love the way you did it, but it's quite a childlike mentality to have to start going, I told you so. But it is, you do feel like that, because there are, there's lots of obstacles in the way, and there are people that, doubt you or whatever, and everyone's got an opinion, as we all know. So you do feel like that, and you need to get it out. You need to get it out of your system and tell people, sort of show. I believe you should show emotion. I think athletes need to show they're human, and I think more people need to realise that athletes are human. But then it's what you do about it, and then what? Sort of have a bit more adult sort of attitude about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had who we had on that was Olympian so far? Oh yeah, Ian Mackey, Ian Mackey and Drew Sullivan. So Ian was Atlanta '96 and Sydney. He got to the semi-finals and couldn't race because he hurt his hamstring. But those guys, I mean, yeah, so, you know, he was in. Who was he in? Who was in that year? I can't remember. I'm rambling. But you know, he was just to go to the Olympics. Just found it as being. So I think, you know, if he had finished fourth, he might have been like really gutted. But he didn't get. You know, he tore his hamstring, so he couldn't race. Yeah. But he was just like, it was an incredible experience. And you know, Drew Sullivan was the same. He was the basketball captain in 2012. And the guys were just. I suppose what you're saying is you would have been way more disappointed, you know, probably having a silver or fourth than just going and enjoying the experience. Because I don't think they were ever going to win gold.
No, and that's the problem is that, it's the Olympics is fascinating, but it's once every 4 years. And you see it, you watch it as a young kid, and you see this incredible sporting event, and you watch sports you've never watched before. You see your heroes, you see the underdog come through, you see favourites pull it out of the bag. You know, it's this incredible emotional experience. So it's very strange when you're there because it's a weird bubble. It's like a circus of athletes. And then suddenly you realise you've got a job to do. So, you can't be happy you're there. It's actually, you can't enjoy the experience until it's over. And then you can sort of reflect on it and go, and for some, it could be over in 10 seconds, dream over. You know, bad dive or bad race, you know, bad false start, that's it, you're out. Over 4 years of everything like that, and that's scary. It's really, really scary. So it's great. Do you know what? I'm actually quite jealous of people that get to really enjoy the experience, because for me, I was just like this, like a bundle of nerves. The minute I stepped on it, it was an emotional roller coaster. It's like, shit, you know, like, you know, and you sort of only look back, and it's only when it finished, it was over, then I actually got to appreciate it a bit more, and actually, like, you know, I was sat next to Messi at 2008 Beijing. There's Usain Bolt walking past. There's, you know, Federer, and you're just like, all right, like that. And then you realise, it's actually quite cool. But I'd love to be able to go there as a basketball player, or a GB basketball player, or GB handball, just have a laugh, because it'd be like, whoa, no expectations on us. We're here. We're going to do some sport, and then party afterwards. Brilliant.
Yeah,
I think the best thing being the armchair fan of the Olympics as me and Chris are. And as you say, every 4 years you become obsessed with a new sport that you never watch again, probably until the next Olympics. And you love sitting there watching some like tiny little Romanian gymnast do a triple somersault that you have no way in hell of even attempting. And you take a back step and you go, oh. Come on. And you're like, you can barely...
It's going to cost a 0.5
that.
Ali only watches women's beach volleyball. Let's stop talking shit here.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone has to. I think every girl does, secretly, and like, oh, why can't I get my bum like that? You know, yeah, of course. You know, understandable.
Yeah, it's quite funny because I had one international boxing match for Scotland, Gail, and I understand the I was completely overwhelmed by the whole thing. Like, you get there and it's like, I've been training so hard for this. I finally got here. I deserve it. I deserve to be here. And then you get there and it's like, holy shit. This is I'm actually representing my country now. And I was awful. Absolutely awful. You know, bagpipes going off in the Scotland kit on. It was like,
oh God.
And it was terrible. Yeah. And it is genuinely, although it's awesome, if you look back and say I have everything framed to say I did it, it's horrible. Because it's so much pressure, and it's not as enjoyable like what people might think it is.
No.
So when people go and perform, like obviously you performed on that stage, world stage, it's amazing how you can control that and actually still perform. It's really fascinating.
I think we're basically really good liars. And that's what it comes down to. So when the media say, you know, oh, what's it like? We're like, oh my God, it's the best experience of my life. But it's exactly the same as you. Your nerves are like, oh my fucking God. You just don't want to fall over. You don't want to do anything stupid or anything like that. But you know what? We're all human, and the adrenaline is going through the roof. And Yeah, it's just basically who can fuck it up less. This is what you're hoping for. They fuck it up more than you do. So yeah, it's horrible. You think about that question, you're like, so that's supposed to be fun. Why did I do that? You know what? Yeah, it's insane, but it's addictive, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Adrenaline is addictive, and that is why athletes do it over and over and over again, because part of your brain wants that buzz again. Part of your brain wants to know if you can do better. Part of your brain wants to push it that little bit more, that, you know, see how far you can push it. And that's the problem, and that's that danger. We have fight or flight in our, you know, the adrenal gland, and that's what we have it for. Because if a lion walks in, you know, the house, you go, shit, run. But, you know, we don't have that in normal life now. So what do? We put ourselves in these stupid, crazy situations called sport, and then go, yeah, this is fun. So yeah,
that's why it must be like when you get a guy like because I think everybody in the world almost, or everybody in the world who has access to a TV watches the 100-meter final. So if you're Usain Bolt and you're, you know, absolutely, you know, probably 3/4 of the world are watching that 10 seconds to perform, you know, when he's playing up to the crowd, you think, how does he do that? Like, it's unbelievable, you know, consistently, you know, or, you know, like you mentioned Messi, like a guy like that who's, the world is watching him constantly and just performs. It's
like it's that you put on a mask. It is an act. So the best thing I can kind of try and sort of describe it, and it's like, you know, when Gladiator, the film Gladiator, Russell Crowe, when you see that part of him when he's walking out, and you see the noise of the crowd, and he's in the tunnel and you can hear it, the music's really dramatic and everyone's getting the jitters, you know, and he's trying to think of the plan and stuff, and that music, and it's just that boom, and it's that just to symbolize the adrenaline, and you are a performer, and it's your stage, and that's how I used to do it, and a lot of athletes see it. This is my stage. I am going to perform for the crowd and for people to show how good I am. And that's how you get over that's why Usain Bolt puts on this, you know, the acting, the messing around. This is his stage. I am the performer. Look at me. I am the star. And that is how he gets the adrenaline to calm down, because he's reasoning it. And the same with me. I walk onto that court. I am the queen of this court. You are not going to mess with me. This is my court. I am the queen. And that's how you kind of rationalize it. And it's not normal, you know. It's a stage, an act, a mask, however. And the trouble is when you stop the sport, you miss the adrenaline addiction, and then you miss that stage, you miss the mask. And so lots of ex-athletes still have that mask on, and they don't know who they really are, and that's where the trouble is of that's where the problems happen.
Now, interestingly, just because you touched on it there, did you know when you were, you know, getting changed to when you were walking towards the court, to when you walked onto the court, that you, on certain occasions, you went, I am unbeatable today. I am not losing. Just mentally, because the way you felt, the preparation, the way you felt leading up to it, the way you felt, you know, on the way to did you know, sometimes you go, I'm unbeatable. Nobody's beating me today. I'm just not.
You just know. It's weird. I don't remember scores. I'm not a stat person. I don't remember my opponents' names or anything, but I remember feelings really, really well. So I remember a certain tournament, how I felt. And there's some tournaments I felt exactly that. It was like, no one's touching me. No one is getting through me. I am invincible today. And there were some tournaments where I didn't feel that. Just had sort of like, just didn't feel comfortable, didn't quite like the arena lights or something like that. It was just something a little bit off, and it was more of a struggle. I had to really battle through it. So yeah, it's completely some people really like that, like a real intuitive, you know, so I'm quite fascinated by that in sports, sort of like a real momentum and flow, and that energy kind of you can get from a certain crowd, or you can get from a certain place. So yeah, I was very much like that.
I do a lot of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, in my work, and it talks a lot about that, how strong intuition is. You know, like you can walk into a room and no one said anything, but you're just like, oh, atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you can pick up on it so quickly, and it's very, very powerful. Both as a motivator or a demotivator, as you were saying, Gail. One of those ones you go, it's just, there's something, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something that's bugging me today, and it can throw you way off. It's almost like that grain of sand and you're sort of in a metaphorical shoe, whereas other days you're like,
Doesn't
I've
bother
got
you.
it.
Yeah.
That's the other way.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating, and the trouble is you can't teach it, and you know, all the top coaches in the world could be like, right, come on, just power through it, and sometimes you just have to allow that person just to the momentum and flow in sport is such a fascinating way of, you can watch it, you can see it happen, and no one knows, like, just stop, you know, they're like, you know, oh, it's brilliant, it's lovely to watch when you're an outsider, but when you're in it and you cannot stop the change or anything like that, it's just like, no. So yeah, but that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's the mind's quite a fascinating thing, isn't it? It's it's funny. It's I don't know. Who were we talking to, Ali, about a sports psychologist? Was it Gareth Walker?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. He was we had a friend of mine, a guy that actually boxed, and he's the current British bare knuckle heavyweight boxing champion, and he had got a sports psychologist involved, and he was saying, you know, he couldn't believe the difference in just like keywords and colours for certain emotions and stuff. Like, he like, you know, really made such a huge difference. That's something I found really interesting.
Yeah, Gumpy's coach had got him, or the psychologist, to key him on the colour blue as a refresh colour. So if ever Gumpy was tired, you know, at the end of a round, he would look at something blue and it would trigger his brain to basically bring his heart rate down, bring his breathing rate down, give his energy back up. And obviously in a boxing ring, chances are there's at least something blue, even if one of the corners is always going to be very smart.
Someone's shorts, not the opponent's should be like staring at the opponent's shorts. Like, sorry, I see something blue.
Colour to bring him down from that. Jesus, I've just been punched in the face for the last 3 minutes.
The blue is that calming. So blue is the sea, blue is the sky. So yeah, of course, it's like what is blue?
Quite
so you think of definitely. I think it's sports psychology has changed massively, and I think I am a fan of sports psychology, and I'm not a fan of sports psychology in a way. So yes, when you hear like little things like this, perfect for the right moment of sports psychology. I am not a fan of sports psychology in the sense that an athlete needs trust and they need to be vulnerable. Now, athletes get sent to a sports psychology to be fixed. You're not performing, go and see a sports psychologist. Now, to me, an athlete doesn't need fixing at all. They just need to understand themselves. And that is often the worst thing to do, is to go to sports psychology, who tries to fix the athlete, and then they have to report to the manager. So particularly in football, you know, so like, oh, so how'd it go with so-and-so, you know, is he loopy, is he tough enough to go out? And then that sports psychology is employed by this person, has to give a report back, say, well, actually, I think they're struggling a little bit. Oh, right, we're not putting it in then. And actually, it's not, and then you're like, then that athlete's like, whoa. I came to you in confidence about something. You've now reported to my manager, so I ain't going to see you anymore. So they bottle it up and they bottle it up. So there needs to, so sports psychology, it's not, in the right way, it's very, very powerful. In the wrong way, it can be very detrimental. And actually, sports psychology, I'm actually trying to sort of promote outside, not sports psychology, but outside mentoring. So more sports people talk to different sports people. So if I talk to a footballer or a rugby player or a tennis player, because we all know, I know that you know, and he knows that I know what it's like. It doesn't matter what the sport is, you and like yourself, you know what it's like, that adrenaline and that oh fuck moment, oh fuck, what the fuck's going to happen. And that is very powerful, and it connects people. And it connects people in a way that you can be open and you can be vulnerable. And sports people need that. They need to be able to be vulnerable in a safe place, because they can't in their sport, because the trust is just like, I don't know if I can trust you or you. So yeah, sports psychology is good in the right place, but there should be other options available as well. But yeah,
definitely. The thing that I always had, because as I said, I did it as part of my degree, the bit that always got me about psychology, I was more of a physiology and biomechanics person, because if I work out how fit you are, Gail, and how fit Chris is, I can design a program that I know if I put the treadmill at this speed for this time, I can make you sweat, get your heart rate up. And it'll always be repeatable and it's scalable across all the way. As a psychologist, what works for you, Gail,
Mm-hmm.
might not work for Chris. And I might never ever be able to repeat that again because it was that one little moment that I got inside your brain and it worked for that one competition that one time.
Yeah.
And I can never go back to that well again because it's been done and it's exhausted. And that's where I always find the difficulties with the psychology of how repeatable is it, how scalable is it, how much of it is a little bit woo and people buying into it versus a hard science, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree totally. And sports psychology, I always think that it should be more at maybe coaching, as in life coaching or personality coaching or personality awareness, self-awareness, all those kind of things, rather than psychology of trying to get in that brain to try and fix something to make you better. Sometimes it could just be such a simple thing, like I say, just having a chat with someone, or just sort of like, I don't know, sort of understanding what they want to do after sport. It's more than, you can't kick a ball over into the you can't do a penalty. Great. It could be, it's usually more than just right, focus on the target, look where the goalkeeper's going. It's actually more than that. It's actually about something that's quite troubling here, rather than to look at the target and techniques like that. But we'll see.
I am way too stupid to understand what either one of you have just said.
No, you're not at all. It's
Just
about it's understanding who you are, Chris. Like, so if I was working with you, that boxing, like if you were in the boxing, so I wouldn't talk about the boxing at all. There's no point, because I haven't a clue. I mean, I do boxing now, and my hands are still killing.
I've seen you hitting the pads. I have seen you hitting the pads with
Leon McKenzie. My right hand is still hurting. Right, have I broken something, or is that just normal? Has he killed every nerve ending in my hands? Right, I'm waking up and I wake up and it's hurting. That's not right, is it?
Well, I mean, if you're hitting pads constantly for a while,
this is last week. This is Wednesday last week. It was a week ago.
It's sort of, if you think about it, because I've seen your little home gym as well. It's a fantastic little home gym. So if you think about, the first time you ever squatted, or if you haven't squatted for, a month, 2 months, and you go back and you squat again, you might not be able to move very well for 3 or 4 days. It's just the same thing. It's just your body, your hands and stuff. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I just want to take. I want to get get my hand plaster casted or something like that, and just go, oh, that is a joke. Go, Leon, what have you done to me, or something like that. So no, I love it. I think boxing is brilliant. And I think more women should do it. I think it's not necessarily. I don't like watching it as a professional fight.
I love it.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't. Training wise, I love it.
Yeah.
But actually, when I see women professionally box, it doesn't sit well with me. However, obviously, it's like choice, and I'm all for it if everyone's there, right decision. But it doesn't sit. It doesn't sit naturally to me to watch two women punch the hell out of each other.
There was a women's fight on last weekend.
Yes.
And it was brutal.
Yeah. Woo! And this is the problem, because someone's gone, oh, we need to put this on, and it was not the right. Who is responsible for that? Because they should be done for that. That wasn't on.
That was a brutal, and there was actually. I don't know, did you watch it, Ali? Yeah. But there was I was going to say there was a fight in the UFC a while ago.
Yeah.
Zhang Zhili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Did you watch that fight?
I didn't see this one.
In the UFC, it was as brutal a fight. It was 5 rounds, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk's head was like, unbelievable. That wasn't good for a women's fight, or that wasn't brutal for a women's fight. That was brutal for
a bloke. Anybody.
It was blood everywhere, head swollen. It was unbelievable. I used to be one of those people that didn't want to see women fighting. But I mean, if they both sign up for it, they both know the dangers.
Yeah,
they're making good money. So
I know. It's just I just wouldn't choose. I don't know why. Something maybe it's like that so we're going, sort of caveman, cavewoman, like sort of instinct in me. It just doesn't sit very well with me. I don't even like it when you sort of like have a bit of a laugh and girls start scrapping with each other, but actually it doesn't feel right at all. So
So me Paige Van Zandt, Gail.
Sorry, say that again.
Are you familiar with she's a UFC fighter, well, just retired, but Paige Van Zandt?
No,
she's quite a good looking young blonde, pretty lass, makes a decent amount, and she's just been dropped by the UFC for losing her last 3 fights basically, and she's just signed to fight bare knuckle. And there is a line where even I'm like, I think that's do you know what I mean? It sounds sexist, as what do you know what I mean? But I don't want to see 2 women punching each other with no. But bizarrely, I'd be okay if they're wearing gloves. So I don't. The bare knuckle thing is a bit like.
That's probably a little bit too far. But
no.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I like it in the sense for when I say this in boxing with women. What I don't, as purely as I think, women need to understand more about their bodies and how incredible they are in a physical education way. So many boys get it because they naturally run around playing football, and it's just more, it just seems to be like, oh yeah, run around. For girls though, it seems if you are sporty, you're the odd one. And then so the sporty girls have to dumb down or not be sporty to fit in. And that's what girls do. We want to fit in with everyone else. So if you're sporty, you're abnormal. And yet actually women and their bodies are what they can do, or how to be healthier and to actually be good role models for their daughters, for their sons, to show that we are strong and we are able to do it. But our upper body strength is shockingly bad. Because, maybe girls will go out running or they'll go out, to do a spin class or something like that. But to do upper bodies, I can just about do a pull-up. So my upper body strength is shocking. Whereas boxing is a really good way for women to get that upper body workout and actually sort of feel really empowered as well. And I think we should, okay, so if I was out and, a guy wants to attack me, it's gonna, I'm a strong woman, but they're gonna win at the end of the day. There's only so much I can do. But you know what? At least I can give a good try, and I might get something in there or something, and it, other than nothing, or just to feel a little bit more oomph about yourself, a bit confidence about yourself as well. And we should boxing's the best thing for that.
Well, I would say not. So I haven't come from a boxing background. Me and Ali now, we both train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, is that better now? Is this my new thing?
I guarantee you would love it.
I know I will.
A woman can 100% beat a big man in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 100%.
Ooh.
Really, it's so much fun.
Yeah, we've got a girl who trains our gym. Give a shout out to her, Tana. I think she's maybe just turned 18, 19. Obviously, this was pre-COVID when we were still able to go to the gyms. But she's quite small, quite quiet. She's an absolute killer. And all the guys roll in wanting to be Conor McGregor with a tattoo, swaggering about. And don't want to roll with Chris because he's a monster. Don't want to roll with because I'm 6'3" and look too big. And they see the girl in the corner and go, I'll roll with you and I'll go easy on you. And within about 4 seconds, you can see them just tied up, tapping, because they're like, and then they get really angry because I've let a girl beat me. And they're 21, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys and the testosterone spikes. And they go a little bit harder. And Tana just taps them out. And they go hot, and Tana just taps them out. And then next week, guess who doesn't roll with Tana?
Love it. And this is what we need. We need more girls like that as role models. We need to to hear about these girls, because it's just and it's so frustrating, to not, when you know the story and you know the power it can have, physical. Like I say, she's the smallest, but she has that ability and she has that confidence. These are girls that we need to shout about and just say, look, this is a role model, not a towie, plumped up, botoxed, lip fillered, face that doesn't even look like a face, whatever. They're not the role models that we should be on the magazines and stuff. It's like, pain.
I mean, I've had it was a while ago now, but I had an argument with a girl that I knew because she sent me a picture of some girl and she's like, I want to have a bum like this. And I went, okay, well, first of all, that's not real.
Yeah.
But yes, and it was somebody from Terry or something. No, those are implants. No, they're not. And I was saying, look at her thighs and quads in comparison.
Yeah.
This is not. She doesn't work for that. She just had implants.
Yeah.
You know, and then you would show somebody like, did you follow CrossFit?
Yeah, I do, but I don't know no names though. But...
Oh, right, okay. Well, like Brooke Wells or somebody who's a girl who's got like a really big bum, but she's like got massive quads and stuff. You're like, no, that's how that should look, not like this. But they just go, no, I want to look like one of these girls. You go, okay, well, go get surgery, but that's not healthy for anybody.
I know. I was in a dentist actually, and the receptionist went, "Oh, you've got a really good bum," and it was not what I expected. I was like, "Oh, thank you." And she's like, and I said, "Well, it's probably because I was a professional athlete and badminton, a lot of lunges. So you know, I've been lunging for about 36 years." And she looked at me in sheer horror, like, "Oh." I was like, "Yes, love, you've got to do some exercise, and you've actually got to work at it, and you have to I squat a lot, you know." So, and that's nowhere near like these bums that these girls have got. And I'm like, I used to squat 130 kilos. I'm probably up to about 70 or 80 at the moment now. Maybe, so I probably could do a 90 at a push. But, you know, I haven't got a bum like these girls because it's fake. It's not real. And you're just sort of like, I don't know what to, you know, you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's,
hey.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like this, you know, it's the same as all, you know, a lot of these guys as well on these programs, and they're all, you know, they're living this party lifestyle and they have a six pack and they're jacked, and you're going, it's because they take steroids. You can't live a party lifestyle.
No, there's cool substances that keep it that way.
Yeah, that doesn't work like this.
If they're not advocating clean living, they ain't on. They're on some stuff that you shouldn't be knowing about.
100%. So I get annoyed with that stuff as well on both sides. But you know, it's good to have. You know, there is some even in jiu-jitsu. You know, like in boxing as well. So like, you know, Katie Taylor's now doing a fantastic job. She's a really good role model for kids. A really, a fantastic boxer. You know, there is some girls now in jiu-jitsu are starting to break out, and they're, you know, black belts and world class, and those are the role models that, you know, I think young girls need. They don't need some girl saying, "You need to do this, you need to do that." You know,
it doesn't get, because I have an nearly 11-year-old daughter. She's 11 months, and it's far easier for her to see. Even if you try and monitor it as a parent, it's very difficult for, even if you monitor it, she goes to school and sees it somewhere else. And, you know, Instagram, Snapchat,
TikTok.
30 million
TikTok is the worst.
My daughter's obsessed with TikTok. She goes, at one point she was moaning about her phone not working. I realised she had 104 gigabytes of TikTok videos on it. So she sees all those kind of things, and that's her 24/7 exposure, as opposed to, as you say, Gail, people like yourself that have been successful athletes and still in good shape, people that are boxing, people that are doing sport. It's just not shouted about or seen as often.
It's not normalised. It's not. And now, because of screen time being more and more and more, and especially with coronavirus as well, we've all been shut down and we've all been on Zoom or whatever on you know, sort of screens and laptops and stuff. It's more screen time, more images being thrown at us. This is how you should look. This is how we want to be. So, I've got a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old boy, 2 boys. And my 10-year-old watches the TikTok, and he's quite funny because he's watching these girls, and he puts his t-shirt in a crop top. He's going, "Look, Mum, look what I'm doing." And I was just like, "This is brilliant. I'm videoing this, and I'm going to put this on your 18th birthday." But it did make me realise like how sexual these girls were in their moves and what they were wearing. And I'm like, my 10-year-old is watching this, and it's like, this is normal girl. These girls don't exist in real life. Go down Milton Keynes, they don't look like that. So if he starts thinking he's going to get a girlfriend like that, I'm going to have to lower these expectations.
Nothing makes you realise how inappropriate song lyrics are until we hear your 9-year-old daughter singing them. And then you're like, whoa. And she's like, "What? That's my song. I like it." And I'm like, "Yes, but go and listen to the radio version, please."
I know it's brilliant as well. It's kind of funny, but it does. I now want to apologise to my parents about playing a song over and over and over again. Do you remember that? We just wanted to, so we could get the lyrics. And I'm like, oh my God, stop playing that song, please, as well. But yeah, joys of parenting. Oh, well.
Oh, I don't understand what you're talking about with that either. So.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah. I should have just let you two talk. I could even do it all the
time. Oh no, we'll still have you. We'll still have you. Come on in.
While we're talking about training and diets and stuff, yeah, I know that you've, from your social media, you've kind of gone into the keto world. And just before you go into that, I'm guessing because of how old you were when you were in the Olympics, your kind of ages with me and Chris. So you must have been a carb loading athlete, I would imagine, because that was the thing back then. It was all carbs, carb loading, pasta, and then now. So when did that change? Was it as you kind of retired, or how did that happen? I suppose.
I guess as a woman, probably you notice it more, and especially if you've had children, that you definitely notice a massive shift in hormones and metabolism. That is for no doubt about it. And I'm sure you guys obviously change, obviously get older, you know, so bodies change as well. So I can only speak from my own personal experience, but I've had 2 kids, and you're right, I was in that stage where I was in that era when it was like I had porridge for breakfast, I had a jacket potato for lunch, and then dinner was chicken and pasta. And it was like, I was all, again, nutrition wise, brainwashed into, if you do not have carbohydrate, you're going to die on that court. And actually looking back at myself in that, and I have the fat gene in my family. So my dad massively struggled with his weight. My dad was massively obese. I have eating disorders in my family as well, the other way. So my mum has an eating disorder. My sister has struggled with eating as well. So I've got very different sides of that. I've got 2 half sisters that, again, weight has been an issue for them as well. And I've always was aware of this as an athlete. And you get tested a lot. You get your fat tested, you get sports science tested, everything. And every time they like monitor my fat, they were like, "You're fat, Gail. You're fat. You're fat. You're fat." So I had to be between 20 and 25% fat as an athlete, and I was always about 26 or 27%. Even when I was number 1 in the world, they kept telling me how fat I was over and over again. So it was really sort of weighing on my mind. And then I had 2 children, put on 3 stone very quickly with just sort of being pregnant. There's no way I should have put 3 stone on. Really struggled to lose it. And the only way I could lose it was pretty much to starve myself. That's the only way that I knew that I could sort of get the weight off. And everyone thought, "Oh, you're an athlete, you'll be able to get it off." So I had to learn about my body again. And it's been a very interesting process. And one of the things that fascinated me was actually, let's look at our bodies and our brains especially. So it's more about the brain rather than the body, about how our brains and bodies haven't evolved much from when we were cave men and women. Okay, so when back in the day, we still have the same brain and we still have the same body. And our diets our 21st century diet is shocking. It is sugar. It's quick, fast energy fix. So you grab something because I need some energy, and you grab it, and you just sort of take this food because you're told this will give you energy. And actually, when you look at it and you look at our energy systems, and actually we don't need that. And we're taught, "Oh, I'm hungry," but you're not hungry. And it's all this sort of like, your brain is the key to it. And that's how I got into the keto sort of mindset. Was keto diet doesn't mean like diet, it means keto sort of lifestyle, and actually allowing your body to be as efficient as possible. And our most efficient fuel is fat, and yet we don't let it get to that fat stage because we apply it with sugar. And as soon as sugar comes into our system, we go, "Oh, that's amazing, and we take the sugar, or we'll take the carbohydrate." So keto means just like, let's just limit that and try to get to the original way of how our bodies work. And the way to get into ketosis is to like deplete everything, and that's really, really hard. You've got 6 weeks of quite a strict diet to strip everything of sugar. And it's believed, when people do, it's like they just sort of hit this high because all the ketones are in your system, and your brain gets 20% more efficient. That brain fog goes. And that's what fascinated me, because in modern lifestyle, we've got brain fog all the time. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm like, I've got 2 kids, I've got trying to juggle this, trying to juggle that. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to cope? And it shouldn't be like that. Life should be quite, we should be all right. We're adults. We should be on to this. So yeah, that's what fascinated me, was making this help this. I don't want to starve myself. I don't want to advocate, oh, let's get skinny like this. I just want to make my body efficient, but the brain efficient. This first, and that will help this. And I've listened to, I went to a podcast, a talk by a brain doctor. She was a brain all about food, about the brain. So it was salmon, and it was how the algae from the salmon eat the algae, the salmon digest that algae, and when we eat salmon, that's where we get the right algae. So even if you took the algae, you wouldn't get the same as what with the salmon, and that's what your brain loves, and this will fuel this and make this better. So that's what I'm really fascinated, and it's been a godsend for me. It's been over lockdown, because I am quite an up and down person anyway. From doing the keto way, this has been like this. And oh my God, I needed that through lockdown with everything that was happening and craziness. And if anyone's interested in it, I definitely recommend looking at it, because I think with this quick fix society that we're in, actually we need to just sort of stop and take a step back and go, actually, do I need that? Do I really? Or do I trust your body a bit more? I'm lighter, I'm fitter, I feel calmer, I feel just more on it. I feel a better me, which is quite interesting about it. So yeah, it's definitely something to. It doesn't work for everyone, and I'm not saying it's like. I had one guy message me today, and he was like, I feel really sick today. And I was like, you're in cold turkey, mate. It's like, I go, oh my God, I've had 4 days, no sugar. And I went, well, yes, because sugar's a drug, So what do I do? I was like, just write it out, mate. Write it out. Come on, you can do this. But, it just shows you how we are in today's society, how it is like, yeah, we are. Are we doing the best for ourselves? I don't know. So yeah, that's what I'm really fascinated by it, and I'm still learning as well. So 6 weeks into it, really, really interesting, and definitely it's placed in sport as well. So I know lots of boxers take the ketones actually now. Boxing, it's got ketones, very, very popular. Football, it is, rugby as well. Just because it gives, for some people, it gives them that. Here makes them more efficient. Here they can run, they're just in training sessions on it more. That aerobic endurance is better because of the fat burning and stuff. So yeah, no, I'm quite intrigued by it. It's definitely something,
I had some horrible time, making weight for fights when I was boxing. It was, I remember, just like what Ali was saying. So there's certain parameters that I could go on. I was one time in particular, I was doing rower sprints, and Johnny, who's been on here before, he was my strength and conditioning coach at that point. I was doing rower sprints, and my times were fucking awful. And he went, "What have you had?" I was coming up to a fight. "What have you eaten today?" And I went, "Genuinely, this is nighttime, a boiled egg." And he went, "What?" I said, "I've had a boiled egg." He's like, "What else?" I was like, "No, I've had a boiled egg." And he went, "You fucking moron! Get off the rower and go home and eat some food." What the fuck? But that's the kind of things that I used to do, because boxing was at that point was very old school.
Yeah.
And it was just and I've seen me in a sauna.
Yeah.
5 hours before a fight with a sweatsuit on and just dying, like to the point where every joint is dry, and you're just sitting there going, "Ow, everything hurts." And in a minute, a big man's going to punch me in the head, and it's horrendous. And that was commonplace then.
Yeah.
Even now, 5-10 years later, it's massively improved.
Yeah.
I'm not really involved in it anymore, so I couldn't tell you how people do it all. But it's always interesting to hear other perspectives on how it goes. I know so I've done some triathlons and stuff as well, and that's one of the hardest things to fuel through. I failed last year at an Ironman, and that was one of the hardest things, was fueling.
Yeah.
Because you get to the point where you're just going, I can't take in any more food.
And your stomach,
starts to blow.
Yeah, totally.
It's
Totally.
horrendous. So
Yeah,
it's
awful.
it's interesting. It's always interesting to hear, dietary stuff.
Yeah, I think, and it's learning. I like to say
Yeah.
I don't have the answers of everything, or I don't have the answers of the universe, but all you can do. So I've tried vegan diet, for instance. I've tried that, and it just didn't do anything for me. I didn't feel great. I didn't feel better on it. I didn't feel healthier. I felt, it was nothing. I was like, yeah, so it's all right, but it didn't give me extra energy or extra focus or anything like that. And that's why I think the brain's key. I think that's where sometimes we feel our stomachs more than actually this.
Yeah.
And that's actually the key to how we are going to sort of remember how we used to be. And there was a link. The brain tells body how to digest. Brain tells body how to work. How brain tells what fuel to use and all that sort of stuff. And it just makes you to stop and realize what you're taking in. And am I actually hungry? No.
Yeah, there's also when you go, Chris.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, have you looked at any of the people who are doing, just carnivore?
Yes. So I've got a friend called Bobby White who is he was 2012 GB handball. And he is now he was a goalkeeper before handball. Then he was goalkeeper for a handball Olympics, and he's a good friend of mine. And I remember talking to him. I said, look, I'm just trying to work out my body. I'm like, don't know what to do. Am I thinking about going vegan? He said, I just eat meat. And I went, you what? I was like, you crazy or what? He goes, no, I just have one meal of meat. And he's been doing 2 years. So he's in natural ketosis. Absolutely incredible. And that's all he does. Yeah, absolutely. It's for him. He looks amazing, feels amazing. Yeah. And it works spot on for him. So he's actually he wants to try the ketone drinks as well that I'm doing. And he's going to try them as well because he wants to get back into the fitness side. So he wants something else to just give him that extra oomph. And I went, mate, you're going to be ketoned out. You're going to be like, woo! Sort of setting world records. So I'm interested to see how that does. But yeah, that's like mad, isn't it?
I've also got something that will blow your mind. And Ali knows this, and it's one of those things that when I tell people, they always go, "What the fuck?" I have never had pasta. It's one of those things that people are always really weird when you do that. You've never had pasta in my life.
Why?
Because he's a weirdo.
That's besides the point. I'm a weirdo without that. It just looks weird.
Because it looks weird.
Yeah,
what, lasagna? Not even a lasagna sheet? I mean, that's flat. That just looks like a... What about gnocchi? That looks like a potato.
No. All looks weird.
Chris thinks gnocchi plays for AC Milan.
It doesn't. No, it's one of those things where I've never tried pasta, and it's always one of those things because you've done some athletic stuff in the back. People always go, "Oh, what do you eat? Do you eat a lot of pasta?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've never tried it," and they always go, "What the fuck?"
You're probably I don't think I've met another you.
No. Well, no. Thank you.
I was the same when he told me because I was like, I can't remember how we brought it up one time, but I think I'd had pasta maybe as a meal, and Chris was like, "I've never had it," and I'm like, "Hi, okay then."
No, I've never had pasta.
Like, no, I've never had pasta. What's the one about tomatoes?
Huh?
What's your thing about tomatoes?
Oh yeah, I've never tried tomatoes either.
You might really like pasta, and you might really like tomatoes. Why don't you just try it?
No.
So you see, that annoys me because you were like, you sound like one of my kids, like, don't look at it. Unless how do you know unless you try it? You might really like it. I don't understand how you don't try it because you might like it.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
You don't know that, do you? Because you've not tried it. So how do you know?
There's a lot of things that I haven't tried that I know I won't like.
Yes.
That's another
podcast. Yes. I don't know what to say right now. I don't know.
Yeah, no pasta, no tomatoes, no pasta and tomato sauce. It just not.
Weirdly, and this is where it gets weird, right?
Because it's not weird already.
It gets weird. So I love strawberries. So in our area of Scotland, we get the best strawberries. Amazing. I love strawberries. I hate raspberries.
Well, they're different, so
Yep,
that's
but
We'll stay with it. Stay with it.
I absolutely detest strawberry jam and love raspberry jam.
Oh, Chris, you're special.
Thank you. That's all we need to know.
You're like one of those weird kids, aren't you? Like when you get like the parent drops them round at a house and goes, okay, so they don't like this, but they do like this, and do you like, and give them a list. And you're like, oh, fuck off, basically, just get out of my house. Like you don't want that awkward kid. And that is you, basically. That is you. You are that little annoying shit that turns up and goes, I don't like that, I only like this. And you're like, oh, just get out of my house, basically. Wow.
I've got two boys as well that are now 16 and 17. But when they were younger, we had a party for them. And it was a typical kids' parties, sandwiches, crisps, sausage rolls. That's what you're getting.
And iron brew, obviously.
And iron brew, obviously.
Yeah, thanks.
And obviously, I was taking that as granted. And one of the mums came in and she was like, I'm just checking, are there organic snacks here? I was like, hey,
fuck off.
What's its quavers and ham sandwiches and iron brew? If you don't like it, fuck off.
We've got organic numbers, organic additives, and organic preservatives. So yes, that cheesy colouring that orange colouring is pure natural shit. So yeah, eat it and weep, love. Oh yes.
So Chris has never carb load with pasta. Is the only thing to take out of that.
No, it's just strange. So yeah, I just like to just because you mentioned you ate loads of pasta, I had to drop that in someplace. I have never had pasta.
I'm just annoyed by this because I make a really good lasagna, so I feel like I don't want to force you to eat my lasagna, but I feel like you should want to eat my lasagna and actually get over this phobia that you have of pasta, because at the end of the day,
lasagna looks like disappointment to me.
Well, yes, if you eat it just like as a pasta, yes, it's really shit. But when you add the nice sauce with it, do you know, like what normal people do with pasta? No one just eats dry pasta. They put that's the key. You add a sauce to the pasta, and that's how you get the flavour, and the pasta adds the extra oomph in it. Saying that, I don't even eat pasta anymore, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like going, yeah, eat pasta. I'm like, no, I don't even eat pasta.
I feel like people have now tuned out and went, oh, those three are idiots. They've left the building. I feel like
you're just gonna get pasta parcels outside your house, like just people, you know, like they lay flowers. You're just gonna get eat this pasta, try my pasta. So this could be a really good decoy. I've never tried wine ever, or Peroni beer.
I did get forced to try wine. It was actually our jiu-jitsu professor. We were watching, I think it was a Conor McGregor fight, and he said, "Have wine." And Dan's, you know, he can kick my ass. So, you know, I went, okay. And I tried it, and I went, oh, this is quite nice. And I felt all sophisticated with my wine. I think I was drinking out of a mug, but, you know, it was still nice. I do like wine. I do like a red wine.
Can I, like, take you out for a day and maybe, like, sort of introduce you into normal life, like maybe adult life? I think, have you missed some sort of adulthood? I don't know. Is there a few years that you've just not been around, maybe in a coma or something? I don't know. I feel like there's an education here that
it has been punched in the head a lot.
Yeah, I have been hit in the head a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's fine. I understand that I'm weird. That's fine. I'm happy with that. You know, I don't. You know, that's fine.
Everyone's got their thing. You know, that's your thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's no, that's fine. I'm happy with being a weirdo. But yeah, so I've got my train of thought now is went completely all over. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. We'll get you on the pasta and wine. You're not Italian, basically. That's what we've confirmed. You're not Italian, and even if you were, every Italian would disown you, basically. So it's okay. Yeah.
They would just hope. That's what you should do, Chris. You should get like a My Ancestry, and it'll come at like 74% Italian. And we'll be like, how dare you? How dare you?
I'm just a disgrace to the Italian nation.
Yes, or go to Italy. They'd love you. That'd be brilliant. Why? No, pasta? No. Just be like, get out of this country now. Oh.
Right. Okay. I'm going to try and bring it back on track.
Okay.
What is your favourite medal? What was your best medal, your best win that you know throughout the career?
The best medal. This is badminton career. I'll take it. It's not like anything random career.
What other career do you have?
Well, there's a secret career that I have. No, because the best medals I've got are actually achievements that I've done other than badminton. So, like I've run a marathon, which I'm not built for marathon. I've swum the Serpentine. I've got the London Classics medal. I've done Everest Base Camp. Those to me are more achievements than actually winning the stuff that I won, because I was actually supposed to do that. I think badminton wise, winning the China Open was, people don't realise the politically correct answer is like, oh, my Olympic silver is the best medal because it's the Olympics, or the World Championships because I was world number one. But I don't, yes, like I was expected to get some sort of medal in those, sort of areas. I expected that. The China Open, to tell you, I don't know if you know much about badminton, but China are very, very good. Okay, so 100 million people in China play badminton. It is like the national sport. It is insane. So when you go over to play the China Open, it's like going to play, it's like boxing in potentially the most corrupt boxing arena that you probably, maybe if you've gone to Eastern Europe or something, which I hear about boxing in Eastern Europe, it can be a little bit biased.
Hometown crowd, shall we say?
Yeah, right, exactly. So when you go to the China Open, the first round, you've got a qualifier who is, funny enough, Chinese, who are bloody amazing, and they'd be like, oh, what the hell are you? You're like better than every single person in Europe, and you have to beat them. Then the next round, you have to play China, and the next round, China, and you literally up against Chinese line judges who are just going, I don't know what. Oh no, it's in. And you're like, no, it was like a mile out, and they're like, no, in. And you got Chinese referees, you got Chinese umpires, and you just got everything is against you. Yet somehow in 2000 and I think it was 2006 or 2005, 2006, Nathan and I won the China Open. It was the biggest horrendous struggle of our lives, but that feeling of, like, you say, remember the sticking up your finger, like sticking fingers up to everyone, that was that people don't realize how hard it was to win the China Open. As non-Chinese. So that's probably my best medal, actually, winning that.
That's pretty cool. So because you mentioned that, I need to know about the marathons and the swimming things that you've done, because I love that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like, again, it's that missing that adrenaline, and I want to know how my body still works, and I want to push my body still. So ran a marathon, I swam the Serpentine, done Ride London, climbed Kilimanjaro, Everest Base Camp. I love stuff like that. I love pushing that boundary, because I'm not a marathon runner. I'm not an open water swimmer. I can swim, but I'm not an open water swimmer. I'm not a cyclist, so I had to learn how to ride a road bike within 5 weeks before I cycled 100 miles.
Isn't it just because you're talking about cycling, and it's one of those things where people, I exactly what you've just said. I am not built for running. I'm not built for swimming, and I'm not built for cycling. But I'll do a triathlon and marathons and stuff. And people go, when you jump on a road bike, well, you just cycle, and you go, no, you don't.
No. No. It's horrendous.
There's a lot to it.
I don't know how they do it. And I think I'm cycling fast, and then they just go, whoom, and you're like, what? Get lost! I can't believe the speed they go. It's incredible.
That makes sense.
But you feel like reverse or something.
Sorry, say again.
It's like you feel like you've got your bike in reverse.
Totally. I feel like Scrappy Doo. That's how it makes me with my little I feel like I'm on a kid's bike, and they're like proper adult, and you're like, all right, and just my little legs going. So there's quite a lot of events in Scotland. If you ever take your fancy to do some of those, there's some amazing mountain runs and really highly cycles that are
I can highly recommend.
Yeah.
If you want something that gets what I found, yeah, and obviously I didn't compete at a 10th of your level, but I have to have, if I'm signing up for a marathon or a hill run or a swim, it has to kind of scare me. I have to go like it's a fighter, like it's an opponent. You go, holy shit!
Yeah.
I need to. So I need that. So there's a few runs and cycles and triathlons and stuff that I've done that are, you could bring the family up and do the event and have fun with the whole thing.
Yeah,
There's
I
some up
agree
here that
with
are
you.
amazing.
Like, I can't sign up for a 10K because I'm like, I can do a 10K tomorrow,
yeah.
or I can do a half marathon. It has to be borderline slightly nuts to
Yeah.
actually do it. And then I do no training as well. So I was planning to do training, and then I go, oh shit, I forgot to do that. Yeah. Everest was the funniest because I didn't realize how much walking was involved. I just literally. So I rocked up, and all these like professional hiker people, and I was like, how much walking on this? And they were like, yeah, it's like 25 miles a day, and he's like, oh, this was like, oh shit. Like, so I don't walk. I don't really do this. And you're like, oh yeah, maybe I should have done a bit of training. So yeah, I like that. Ah, fuck it, bring it on.
So the one that I would recommend for you, in fact, I think my medal is on the wall. It's called the Solomon Ring of Steel in
Okay, good name.
And it was so bad. It was so warm when we did it. When I crossed the finishing line, they gave me my medal. I started crying. Genuinely, it was so hard, and there's little ridges that you go across that are like. It actually comes in the when you sign up and you get all the email and stuff. It comes with
you might die.
Yeah, it says this comes with a risk of death. There's little passes that are this wide, and you're like, yep, that's for me. That's one I would say if you ever want to come to Scotland and do something crazy. It's not that far. It's only 18.5 miles, 29 kilometers.
Yeah.
But it's so hilly. It's brutal. So if you ever want a challenge, I would highly recommend that one for you.
Okay. This like death thing though. How many people have actually died doing it?
Nobody.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, I'm in. Yeah. Okay, I'll do it then.
There's just parts where it's like this much kind of rock face.
You like crawl along, or do you have to like? You can't just balance like that. Surely you have to like sort of go on your ass or something.
No, there's like a rock face, and there's like some little bits where you've got to put your foot, grab onto it, and pull yourself along.
Oh, fuck off!
Yeah, there's some tough bits on there, but yeah. Okay. That's one. Yeah, I would look at that one. That's you would like that, and it's a beautiful little village in the Highlands. You could do that one. I think you would like it.
Okay.
In fact, I'll make a deal with you now.
You eat pasta.
If you do that, I will try pasta.
You know what? So there's one's got a risk of death. One is actually quite enjoyable. I mean, I don't feel like it's quite as this. Don't feel very equal on that somehow.
Yeah, but I've got to nearly 36 years. Yeah, but I've got to nearly 36 years without trying that little horrible snail-looking shit. That's a big thing for me. The deal's there. That's all I'm saying. The deal's there.
I think I'm going to add something else to that somehow. I'll have a little think, but I'm adding something else. You're not just having, I'll eat pasta. I'm not even adding and a tomato in there either. I'm gonna make pasta, tomato, and something else, but I'll have a little think. Okay. All right.
Okay. We'll come back to this deal.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been going for a little while now.
Yeah, we've just hit 70 minutes, so we can.
It always flies by.
Oh dear.
Just before we wind it up, Gail, if people want to find out more about you, follow you, where can they find you on the social media, interwebs, all those kind of things?
So I have a very unique name, so no one else is called Gail Emms in the universe, which is quite nice. So if you want to find out more about what I'm up to, whether it's like fitness stuff, whether it's keto stuff or anything like that. So Instagram is @Gail Emms, and Twitter it's @Gail Emms. So it's quite good having a unique name. And yeah, just get in touch. It's something that, you know, very passionate about. I always try and engage with people. So if you're want to know more, I do reply to people. Obviously, if you're nice and respectful, not if you're not. But yes, if you do want them to know any more, then happy to chat.
Awesome. And we can confirm she is lovely and does reply when you are respectful. When random people say, fancy coming
that
to
is true.
Scottish lads.
Yes. Very true. Cool.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, episode 35 in the can. Gail Emms, Queen of Badminton, MBE, legend.
Close bracket.
Legend, close bracket. Shuttlecock on the forehead for 2021.
Do you know what? There you go. That's what you can do. I will make you some sort of headband with a shuttlecock on there, and you got to go around for at least a week wearing it or something like that. See what happens. Got to go out for a night.
You're underestimating my levels of weirdness.
Yeah, that's less.
That'd be easy, wouldn't it? That's less than passing. You probably do it now. Yeah. Okay, I'll make more of that. Don't worry.
Okay,
I'll do that.
You can think about it.
Oh well, don't worry.
Episode 35 done and dusted.
The Silly Goose Gang Podcast.